Right now, somewhere on Earth, a 6-year-old can build a fire faster than you. She can identify a poisonous root by smell. She can track an animal across bare, dry ground. And most adults watching this video have never even attempted any of it. You probably think you know why. Ancient and traditional childhoods were harsh. Kids were forced to grow up fast out of necessity. No choice, no play, just early labor. That belief is mostly wrong. Decades of fieldwork suggest almost the opposite. These children weren't drilled. They were included. And that distinction is the entire mechanism. So if it's not discipline, and it's not chores, what is it? In the 1970s and 80s, developmental anthropologist Barbara Rogoff began studying children in San Pedro, a Mayan town in Guatemala. She noticed something strange. Toddlers weren't separated for lessons. They were kept physically present during real adult work, cooking, weaving, market trading, from infancy onward. Rogoff called this intent participation. Kids absorbed skills by watching closely, then joining in, at their own pace, with real stakes attached. But here's the part most retellings skip. This idea didn't actually start with children at all. It started with two researchers, Jean Lave and Etienne Wenger, studying adult tailoring apprentices in Liberia in the 1980s. They called it legitimate peripheral participation. Grown men, learning a craft, by standing near the work before they were ever allowed to touch it. The childhood version came later, almost as an afterthought. But theory is one thing. The real test came from watching actual children survive on their own skill. And one group made that impossible to ignore. Anthropologist Alyssa Crittenden spent years with the Hadza, a hunter-gatherer community in Tanzania. She documented something remarkable. Hadza children, some as young as 3 to 5 years old, forage in unsupervised, mixed-age groups. No formal teaching, no structured lessons, and by early childhood, they're already contributing real, calorie-significant food to their own diets. 3-year-olds, feeding themselves, partly through their own labor. It looked like proof that children everywhere could master almost anything quickly if adults simply got out of the way. Except one skill broke that theory completely. So what's actually happening here, mechanically? It's not magic, it's structure. Mixed-age groups mean a 5-year-old learns from an 8-year-old, not just an adult, which lowers the stakes of failing. Practice happens through real play, not scheduled drills. Responsibility increases gradually, in tiny real increments, instead of all at once. And exposure is constant and ambient, not boxed into 45-minute lessons. And there's a mirror to all this, worth holding carefully. Psychologist Peter Gray and others have tracked something like the opposite pattern in heavily schooled, industrialized societies, a measurable decline in unsupervised, self-directed play over recent decades. Researchers have raised concern that this might correlate with slower developing independence and risk judgment. That's correlation, not proven cause, so take it as a question worth sitting with, not a settled fact. But here's the uncomfortable part. Even inside the societies famous for fast, intuitive skill building, one skill refused to play by these rules. Researchers Kim Hill, Hillard Kaplan, and Robert Walker studied hunting among the Ake of Paraguay and the Hadza. They tracked actual hunting efficiency, not just participation, but real kill rates. And hunting skill doesn't peak until a hunter's 30s, despite a lifetime of practice that often starts before age 5. Decades of exposure, and the skill still takes decades to mature. It gets messier. Anthropologist David Lancy has directly challenged the popular version of this whole story. He argues the amazingly capable child forager narrative is cherry-picked. Cross-culturally, there is enormous variation. Plenty of traditional societies restrict children's autonomy just as tightly as modern ones do. The clean, inspiring version you've probably seen in other videos isn't the full picture. So the real question isn't why ancient kids were so fast. It's fast at what, exactly? And that changes everything, because this gap isn't really ancient versus modern. You can see it built deliberately, right now, in places that copied the mechanism on purpose. Montessori classrooms mix ages specifically so younger kids learn by proximity to older ones, the same structure Rogoff documented in Guatemala. Traditional trade apprenticeships, in kitchens, in woodshops, still teach through observation and graduated real responsibility instead of lectures. And Scandinavian forest schools hand young children real tools and real outdoor risk, on purpose, betting that competence grows faster under real stakes than under constant supervision. Which means the gap isn't ancient versus modern. It's something we can still choose to close. Maybe the real ancient secret was never talent, or toughness, or some superior childhood we've lost forever. Maybe it was trust. Adults trusting children with real consequences, earlier than feels comfortable to us now. We protect kids more than almost any culture in history ever has. And somewhere in that protection, we might be quietly underestimating them. Next time, I want to go further than skills, because researcher Michaeline Duckleff spent years embedded with Maya, Inuit, and Hadza families, and what she found wasn't just about competence. It was about how these cultures taught patience, calm, and emotional control to toddlers, almost entirely without raising their voice once. That video's coming next, and it might be the harder one to believe.